Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Hayes.
I'm Dylan Bracha.
We had a very interesting week of NFL action, and I believe the Rookie of the Year race is locked up.
Yeah, I think it's over.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, what a game from him.
470.
470, yeah.
5. Jesus.
Jeez, in the air. What a game from him. Tank Dell had a great game. Noah Brown had a great game. Dalton Schultz had a great, it was just, I can't, let alone the heroics of that 30-second final drive. But what a game from him. I don't think it's close anymore.
It's cool to see that the Texans are really figuring it out. I mean, with the D'Amico Ryans team, CJ Stroud as a rookie, we haven't seen this. I mean, Patrick Mahomes wasn't even a rookie, but this is what it reminds me of. I mean, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception through, 8 games, 4-4.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
He's been having a hell of a season. And, I don't know. Puka Nakua's had a good year. I mean, he set the reception for rookies. But, what he's done to this franchise alone has been really impressive.
Right, not to underscore anything Nakua's done, and it has been awesome. 64 catches, 827, and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of, really, for a rookie. But what Stroud's doing at the most important position in football, it's just wow.
Looking at what their offense was last year and comparing it to this year, yes, they haven't won every game and everything, but he still put them in the position almost every game, and I don't know how many people had them at 4-4 this time of the year.
I agree, and I gotta say, shout out to the Texans for putting Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, some of those veteran guys,
getting Tank Dell, as well.
Robert Woods, just getting some of those veteran guys to install in that offense to give him, so many teams kind of give their quarterbacks not great weapons or younger weapons and experienced guys, but no, they got older guys.
Well, you compare it to the Panthers, they got him Thielen, and I don't really know who else he's throwing to on a week-to-week basis. So I mean, it's a good mix of finding the right pieces for your quarterback. And D'Amico Ryans has been doing a great job coaching the defense. Obviously, he's a defensive mind coach. He's elevated them as well. Right.
They got the right sort of guys on that team, and they'll be fun to watch. Maybe they'll try to sneak in for that wild card. It's a little open at the bottom of the AFC, 7 seed territory. They're working with not a ton on defense too. Not a huge ton of household names on defense, but they're making it work.
Yeah.
It's an overall great game for them. And then over in Germany, Dolphins falling, another good team, another loss for Miami.
I gotta say it. I've been thinking this throughout the whole time, but the Dolphins are frauds. 0-3 against winning records, and I mean they just beat up on bad teams. I don't know if that's gonna change at all, but I never thought this team could go that deep, and I don't know what they expect. They want the Super Bowl with this team. It's just not going to happen. They're not at the level of the Chiefs. They're not at the level of even the Bills. The Bills aren't even in the playoff picture right now, and the Bills are better than them.
Yeah, how do they get better here? Is Jalen Ramsey going to make the difference?
He hasn't been though.
Yeah.
He was playing against the Chiefs, and they made it close at the end. The Chiefs' offense kind of faded out, but they threw away the game. Tua fumbles the ball on the last drive and coughs it up. I don't know if they're ever going to have the clutch factor to win a game against one of those teams like the Chiefs.
Right. Here it is. I mean, the next 5 games, they got Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, and Jets again. Those are all winnable. And then they play the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills to end the year. So those tests will come, but it's going to be at the end of the year.
Obviously, they're going to have a good record come the end of the year. I don't know if they drop any of those next 5.
Probably not. Honestly, they probably go into those last 3 games with a 11-3 record, probably locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, and at that point, yes, they're locked in, and they might win the division at that point because the Bills have dropped so many.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills still have the Chiefs on the season and all that.
They got to play the Eagles. They got to play the Chiefs. They got to play the Cowboys.
That's a tough schedule. So yes, they probably lock up the division. But if we're being honest here, what if they get lined up against a Bengals team in the first round?
Yeah, you don't want to play the Bengals because the Bengals very well could be the Super Bowl team.
I wouldn't be surprised. They've been playing lights out.
Yeah, for me, it's between them or probably the Ravens at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bills could enter that category if they could
They got to string together a lot of wins, though.
They got to figure
against
it
good
out.
teams.
I don't see
if
them
they don't,
missing.
they're not going to hit wild card.
I don't see them missing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I just figure they'll find a way.
I think there's going to be room open.
Right.
The question is, because I mean, it's filled up with the AFC North, and they got to play each other so many times left this season.
Exactly.
I think the spots are going to be there. I just don't know if the Bills are going to have enough time to get up to that point, because there are teams on the fringe right now that could make a case. Like the Texans can make a case if they win a good couple in a row.
Texans are a team to definitely look out for that, as we kind of talked about.
The Colts are kind of fringe right now.
Colts could be. I just see the Colts starting to drop games. You know what I mean?
Agree.
Same deal with the Chargers even. The Chargers could be that 7 seed.
Yeah, they got to make up a lot of ground, though.
But it could be, the Steelers are probably going to get one if they keep it up. The Browns are probably going to get one, too. And then I think that last one is the one that's probably
You think
open.
the Steelers are going to lock it down?
I mean, honestly,
I think they're the team to drop it.
That defense is just so dominant. It's just like
the offense is inconsistent.
Oh, I know it's inconsistent, but they're really stifling teams.
Yeah.
They on a weekly basis too. They're not allowing more than 20 points typically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going into their last few games, they've let up 16. They let up 20 to the Jags, 17 to the Rams, 10 to the Ravens. That's excellent.
Yes, they had a great game against the Ravens, but I mean that's divisional. I don't know how much that plays into it. I don't know.
Yeah, they keep it up. They beat the Packers, I'm guessing, next week, and then they got to play the Browns. It's close. Bengals. It's gonna depend on how they do in those division games.
Yeah.
They've been strong so far. So, the Steelers, honestly, they win the next 3 games, they put themselves in a great position to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if they can beat the Bengals, and the Bengals are on fire.
Right.
If the Bengals continue to be on fire, that's a playoff spot for them. They've already itched back in.
The Steelers are like an interesting. I think they're fully capable.
I do too.
Like, they're not one of those teams where I think it's like a talent thing. Like the Steelers are totally in control of their own destiny.
Yeah,
like,
but that being said, they're not moving past the first round. If they were to make it,
probably not.
I can't see that.
They're not a team that's probably going to make any noise, but they're a team I wouldn't want to play because you're probably going to leave with 3 injured guys. I mean, they're just like they're a tough team.
Well, to be fair, that division could be wide open. Like, there could be one team that makes the playoffs just based on how much they play each other.
Right.
And they could all be playing for that spot all year. Like, the Ravens have a good shot right now with where they're sitting, but you never know. If they lose to the Bengals, I think they haven't played once yet.
This is a hard thing to wrap. The Bengals are in last place in their division on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah.
They're be in last place with a 4-game winning streak.
Right.
That's crazy.
They're on fire, and the teams they beat are no joke.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. I'm speaking of streaks. The longest streak in the NFL is a 6-game losing streak for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they might have the first pick locked up come the end of the year.
They
They might swoop under the Bears.
There's a big Bears-Cardinals week 16 or 17 matchup that's probably going to be the deciding game, honestly.
Oh, man, that's huge.
It's going to be high stakes.
That is because, if they go over the Panthers, the Bears will get the first pick again.
This Thursday night game is huge for the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it is.
World too.
If you're the Bears,
anyway,
you have to win this game.
Regardless
of what you want to do for the future, they need to win.
Because the Panthers are, I'm afraid the Bears are got a few more wins in them.
Yeah.
And
they need Fields back too. I don't know if Badgett can get it done against Carolina.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Panthers are banged up.
Mm-hmm.
I would just entertainment factor. We need to see Justin Fields. This game is gonna really suck. It's just
I kind of need it for fantasy too.
Yeah.
DJ Moore has been kind of pushed off.
Yeah, Moore will have like 100 yards plus.
Yeah.
If Fields
if he can give me anything like the last Thursday night game, he had 49 points. I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was really awesome to watch him. What do you have? 3 touchdowns?
Yeah,
he had the hat
3
trick.
Touchdowns, 230.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Last year, speaking of being a beast, Josh Dobbs just made it over to Minnesota, then had to go to Atlanta, then had to be a backup to Jaron Hall, and then he had to go in the game, and then he won the game.
Can we take a moment and just like really take this in?
Yeah.
He didn't take an offensive snap in practice at all.
He was doing his first ones, doing the silent count, figuring it out.
He was taking snaps on the sideline after he got hurt, and they ended up kicking the field goal or whatever. I can't believe he went out and played as well as he did.
It's unbelievable, really. I mean, just the whole situation, the fact that he was even the backup listed, it's just wild that they put him in, and then to perform.
And it was almost the whole game he was in. Like, it was like, I think the end of the first where Hall went down. And he put the helmet on and he went to work.
Iconic game. The Vikings, they'll have his back, for that. Yeah. That's big time.
Dude, he didn't know any of their names. Like, this is the same. I mean, let's flash back to the beginning of the season. He didn't know anybody on the Cardinals either.
Second time traded this year, and he's just taking it in stride.
Yeah, so he's playing, and he goes on to win a game for the Cardinals, their only win. And now he's a Viking, and he's already gotten a win in his first game.
Yeah.
Just big shout out to him because, oh my goodness, I can't imagine the pressure. I can't imagine stepping on the field and not knowing any of the plays or like what every lineman's like.
Imagine getting traded twice. Imagine twice the team saying, "No, we don't want you. We're trading you." That's crazy. But he's making it work. He's not.
He is, and like now, if you're a Vikings fan, maybe there's some optimism on the year.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, if this is what you're going to get out of him, and he hasn't practiced with the team, and you don't have Justin Jefferson,
they're right there. I mean,
they are.
In terms of the other, I mean, the Cowboys are likely to get one of those spots. So are the Seahawks, or the Niners, winner of that division. Yeah. Probably the Seahawks would get the wild card. And then
the Seahawks have a rough end stretch. That's why I tend to I'm nervous about them. They got the Niners twice and Dallas and the Eagles, like in a 4-game spread. Like that's going to be brutal for them.
Vikings are right there. I mean, I honestly would project them to make the playoffs at this point. Their
competition is mainly within the NFC South. The Bucs, Saints, like that area. Like they just beat the Falcons, which is good.
Right.
So if one of those two teams don't win the division, being the Saints or Bucs, like that's big competition. They might have a winning record come the end of the year, so that's a team to look at. The Rams maybe pick up a couple, but they're in a good spot right now.
No, definitely, no doubt. Some of the and I feel like that you don't need to worry about teams like the Packers, the Bears, probably. You don't need to, the Rams probably aren't going to be in that conversation. There's a lot of teams you can kind of write off at this point.
Yeah, but you got to outperform them.
You got to outperform. Ultimately, that's the name of the game. Yep. But, I think that the Vikings are definitely capable of doing that.
They really could. And, I mean, if Dobbs is going to do that, I mean, that's going to go back to what we were talking about when Kirk got hurt. It's how many questions are going to spread from, if we don't have Kirk next year, what if we get what if they stick with Dobbs? What if they, he's playing this good? You never know. What if they draft somebody? Like, there's all these questions now are going to float out around the Vikings going forward.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable just how Dobbs' stock has risen and fallen throughout the year.
And I mean, this season alone, I mean, it started really low, rose up, and then it dropped. You know, he was doing nothing for the Cardinals these last couple of weeks. To the point where they were going to bench him.
Right, yeah.
He was benched for whoever, Clayton Tune. I mean, come on, who's heard of this dude before? Yeah, no. And he goes throws a stinker against the Browns.
Disrespectful by the Cardinals, really. I mean, I guess they were trying to ship him out, had a deal in place or something. Big power balance game. The Ravens 34-point victory over the Seahawks.
Yeah, and
smoked them.
That's the Ravens, man. They look good.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you, are they the best team in the AFC?
Right now, they've been the best team in the AFC. Mm-hmm. I mean, come playoff time, we'll see how it goes. That Mahomes has got the experience there, and Burrow's been there, done that. Even the Bills.
I mean, Lamar's been there, but he hasn't won all too much.
Right.
And I think that's the big thing.
It feels a little different this year with the Ravens. It really does. I mean,
even when they're making, big mistakes, they're still finding ways to win.
Yeah, they're just kind of playing complimentary football at the end of the day. It's all just been really solid. Not allowing the Seahawks to get much on offense. They had 151 total yards.
That's what they were doing to the Lions 2 weeks ago. So it's I don't know if it's just an NFC thing where they have their number, because we brought up the stat for Lamar. He's only got one loss to the NFC in his career.
Right.
I mean, the true test is going to come when they play the Bengals, when they have the Browns again in Pittsburgh. You know, like all these teams, they're real threats right now because they got to win the division, you know, for their nice playoff spot.
Yeah, it really can't be underscored what the Ravens just did to the Seahawks. The Seahawks have been one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they made it look easy.
They did.
They really did.
And they did the same thing against the Lions, who had a stronger defensive look, at least. Like, they were playing good, and they did whatever they wanted against the Lions.
That's right now the Ravens may be the best team, to be completely honest. There hasn't been a better team in the whole league.
Well,
besides maybe the Eagles.
Yeah, I was going to say the Eagles probably have the case, but the AFC side, I mean, you get a lot of, like, the Jags have looked really good. I will put them in that upper echelon, and I have my hesitations, but, like, they look really good.
Right. I'll say it now. We may be looking at a battle of the birds, you know?
We could.
Super Bowl.
A lot of people are starting to lean that way.
Yeah, because the Ravens are just... They're nasty.
They are nasty. I mean, if they can stay healthy and play that way come playoff time, like, they got a real big, obstacle in the way.
Right.
You know? Any team's not going to want to face that.
They get shaped up by their division, too. Playing in the AFC North benefits them.
Iron sharpens iron.
Definitely. Like, they play tougher than a lot of the other... Like, the Dolphins, they don't play tough, you know? They're not... They're like, quick. They're speedy. Mm-hmm. Their identity isn't being tough. But that's what you need when it's...
Well, their identity is kind of just going up early and then, keeping the pedal down.
Right. It doesn't really work like that all the time. It works like that in the perfect conditions when it's 70 degrees out and it's all going good, but it's not
the other
like
team's
that.
Sitting in the sun, 100 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll work out sometimes, but it's not always gonna be like that. Sometimes it's gonna.
I know. You're not playing the Broncos every week.
The Dolphins. It's just a feeling. You can just kind of feel it. I'm not saying they're soft, but we'll see.
I think they're far from perfect for a good football team.
Right. I don't know. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
It might be a first-round exit again.
Yeah,
I just hope they
agree.
get a chance with their starters. I hope it's not Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to take that debate out of what would happen if we had. I mean, the Dolphins played really well against the Bills in the playoffs last year. That first round, like it was close.
Yeah,
and much closer than it should have been.
Right. It was a good game. I mean, and good on them for. Like, the Dolphins have a good defense sometimes. Yeah. Like, when they got players that can make plays, they were opportunistic last year, a lot of turnovers. Those are sometimes not always the easiest to replicate from a year-to-year basis, but, we'll see. They got some good players, Ramsey, Wilkins, Dolphins could make some plays, but they're not at that level.
I agree. I don't think they're at that level. And speaking of not on that level, let's talk about the Jets.
Yeah.
Last year they made this argument they were a quarterback away, and they thought from Super Bowl. I don't think they're nearly as close.
I mean, you put Rodgers on here, maybe we're talking. But
are we, though?
I think so.
I mean, look what... He died in 4 plays. He got injured.
I know, but I think if you just had a healthy Rodgers here, they'd be okay.
Their O-line is a bigger problem than anybody wants to admit. And we talked about it going into the season that this O-line is not good.
That was a conversation, and it did end up.
Like, look at what the Chargers did to them. They had 3 fumbles on Zach Wilson alone. How many sacks? It must have been 6,
Quite
7.
A few. It was up there, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, like, they feasted on them. And what are they going to do against a team like that in the playoffs or something if they got that far?
Yeah, no, the Jets, not this year, not for the playoffs, but. The offense is just god-awful. And one observation is the offense for the Jets is so inept that they're getting 3-and-outs pretty often, which just kills them in the field position game. And as good as the Jets' defense is, the Chargers are going to move the ball. They have players. So, when that's happening, the Jets are going to keep getting pinned back even when they do make stops, and then their offense is in bad positions. And that just eats away at you. Like, you look at the team stats. The Chargers had less yards last night. The Jets outgained them, Well,
when you have 3 fumbles and then, they're returning it to almost the end zone.
Right. They couldn't control the field position game all game. I mean, and that's all attributed to their bad offense. It reminds me of old 2020 Mitch Trubisky. I've said this about them before.
It's just
so true.
I mean, Zach Wilson, not a quarterback that you want for your franchise team. And, like, he was taken so high, so he has to have that high criticism on him. But Aaron Rodgers didn't look like Aaron Rodgers of old when he played for the Packers last year.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's got something.
I think he's got something in him. I don't know if he has a Super Bowl in him. And I've kind of been on that path. Their defense is as good as it is. I don't know if their offense could even put up enough to help in a week-to-week. Like, it's Garrett Wilson and it's Breece Hall, but, like, after that, I just don't think they have enough to build, even in the future. Right. I don't know what their plan would be next year if Rodgers is back healthy and they can't fix that O-line problem.
I'm just trying to do some quick math on Zach Wilson's just yards per drop back, and it's under 5.
That's bad.
Like, that's per drop back. Like, it's terrible.
That's really bad.
Like, just so inefficient. When he's completing passes, sometimes they're dink and dunks. The offense averaged 3.5 yards a play. I mean, I just do think it's worth noting that the Jets played bad last night. I don't think the Chargers necessarily played good, but we wouldn't know anyway. Right. We literally wouldn't know.
I think this would have been a better game with Rodgers. Don't get me wrong, but I just think the Jets are further away than they seem. Like, their defense makes these plays, but they aren't getting the turnovers that they want. You know, they need some turnovers for that offense to do anything. That's in my opinion. Or 3 and outs are as helpful as they are. You get the field position, hopefully, if they're pinned down, but the offense isn't moving the ball enough for that field position to even matter.
Yeah, the turnovers is really what killed them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, looking at the box, it's not the box score of a 27-6. One thing that really, 3 of 17 on third down. That is just terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that might be attributed to getting 3rd and 8s, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get a lot of close third downs.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
They were all medium to long.
They are not close. They need to fix that O-line big time. But I mean, the quarterback play is a big part of it too. It would be. I feel like we got robbed of something interesting.
I would have liked to seen it, but like I just don't think they'd be as good as people. Like, I came into the season not thinking they were as good as people gave them credit for, and I think we're seeing it to a higher degree because it's Zach Wilson.
Right.
But that O-line was destined to be bad this year. Yeah. Which means the run game can't get to where it needs to be, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the time he needs. Like, I mean, it's just a bad recipe.
Yeah, we got to look at the Jets' schedule to really see if they have a chance, because the Jets are the type of team that can beat certain types of teams, but not other types of teams. Like, they can beat the Raiders. They could maybe beat the Bills again.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the Dolphins probably not. But the Falcons,
they should beat them.
Texans, maybe.
But the offense could move. Like, that's, again, those teams, when their offense is on, your offense can't match. Right. You know?
They're in any given Sunday. I mean, they're playing. I kind of had a feeling the Chargers were going to kind of overrun them a little bit.
I had
And, but there's a lot of teams where you that's not really the case. I mean, they're weird. They're built to win 8 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then throw a superstar in there, maybe a few more. That's my take on them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what the future holds for them. It's going to be a week-to-week thing for them, but
because they beat the Eagles.
I know, but it took Jalen Hurts having the worst game of his career.
Right, but they did that.
I don't want to give them too much credit for that. Yes, it was a good win for them. It took Jalen Hurts making really bad reads the whole game. Like, you won't beat Jalen Hurts every game.
No, I agree. It's just,
I mean, that's a 9 times out of 10 the Eagles.
I want to be hard on them now, when they have a bad game, and I want to sell it. Like, it's just.
I just think if this was any other team, we'd be all in the same boat. We're taking a little too easy on them, and like, when they're bad, you have to be like, they're bad.
Yeah,
that was a bad game.
Definitely. It's just, it always seems so much worse when it's the offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're, to me, an average team, but they're atrocious offensively.
Yeah.
Really good defense.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
It's 2 spectrums right now.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing. You can't market that.
There's a lot of teams like that right now, where the defense is miles ahead of their offense.
Right. Yeah, it's not a fun place to be as a fan.
No. It makes for games to be really boring. The Colts last year were very, very boring to watch. The Broncos of last year. And you've seen a couple moments of them turning it around. Like the Colts have been much more fun to watch. The Panthers this year have been pretty boring to watch. They can't get a lot of offense going. The Patriots of these past couple of years have been boring to watch. The offense sucks.
Panthers are flat out bad this year.
Yeah.
And then
the Cardinals aren't a fun team to watch.
Packers are
tough to watch.
Almost in the flat out bad category.
They just are winning. They're winning a couple games here and there that keep them afloat.
They're beating bad teams, but that's because they have some solid players.
Yeah.
And then
I think they're above bad teams, but not by much.
Yeah, like they're like a 22nd team.
Yeah. So.
6 to 7 wins.
Let's talk about Will Levis.
Yeah.
Earns the QB1 spot.
Yeah. Big news.
Tannehill's officially benched. I can't imagine he plays for another snap.
Yeah, I got to look at his contract situation, but it can't imagine they're going to him back.
I mean, let alone what team would want him if he's not a Titan next year? In my opinion, none. I don't think he has anything more to offer to an NFL franchise.
No, I agree. Let's see. He's got. Oh, there's been a restructure. I see. So his cap hit this year is $36 million.
Jesus.
Next year it's $9 million. The restructure $9 million of dead cap. Whoa. There's no outs, really.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to keep him on the roster next year if he's under contract. There's nothing wrong with having a veteran there, especially with a guy so young, but...
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's a hard thing sometimes for starters, but Tannehill's almost a different story, having been benched in Miami and then coming to Tennessee
he had a sort of
as
a resurgence,
backup.
right?
He came to Tennessee as a backup.
He was.
So now to be elevated to starter and then demoted back to backup, I mean, how will Tannehill, the person, does he view himself as a starter? I don't know. You know,
I mean,
will a team trade for him?
He hasn't been good.
A team might be interested in trading for him
offseason.
I mean, because he actually has like a tradable contract.
But who? Can you name one that you think would be interesting?
I would say the team that has a injury to their quarterback in training camp, but there's that. But
I think there's better free agents out there I would rather sign than Tannehill.
Probably, but I mean the Vikings traded for Dobbs, and a lot of people criticize that. I mean,
to be fair, I still like what Dobbs did was great. Would I rather have Jacoby Brissett or Jameis Winston for a year? I mean, I would lead towards that way.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm jumping and happy if the Bears get Tannehill, but I'm just saying it's probably something that some team will consider.
How old is Tannehill?
35.
Like, come on.
No, I don't want him. I'm just saying someone will do it. I mean,
I don't know. At 35?
Teams do crazy stuff.
They do.
All the
It's
time.
just at 35 going on 36.
No, I know. I mean, the Titans had him in the first place. So
I don't know. I think
Garoppolo got signed without even having a physical.
I know.
And I mean, I think they're similar players.
No.
You don't
I would
think
rather
so?
have Jimmy G in a heartbeat.
I agree. I just think they're similar kind of guys.
I mean, I think Jimmy G has a better chance at winning you a game. I think Tannehill's more circumstantial.
I don't even know. He's a backup. Like, he literally is a backup.
He's a backup. And I mean, Jimmy G is a backup too. At this day and age, like, he doesn't have the Niners surrounding him. He's a backup.
Tannehill, like, had a pretty interesting career.
Yeah.
He was able to do it. Like, he, like, kind of rode the Derrick Henry thing.
Right. I mean, back in the day, too, in Miami, like, he was solid for a while. Don't get me wrong. But at this, especially the stage of the NFL, like, young guys are coming in left and right. We've got good talent, everywhere. Like, look at a guy like Taylor Heinicke. He's not young anymore. He's, like, 29, but he's balling.
What if Tannehill becomes like this journeyman, like Fitzpatrick? He just keeps going, or McCown.
I just don't know how many teams are going to want to sign it. Like, Fitzmagic had his moments with these teams that he kept going to, and he played, and he earned snaps. He was not bad when he played. Like, look, he did for the Bucs, did for all these teams where I was like impressed. I don't see that at Tannehill.
No, I don't either, but it would be interesting.
It would be. I just don't know how many teams would bite. I understand, having veteran guys around to help, coach up younger players, but I just don't know if Tannehill's the route for that.
No, probably not as a starter. Bring him in for some competition or something.
Yeah, I mean maybe
Dalton's on the team.
I mean, if I'm Tannehill, I look at my bodily health. I mean, this dude's been hurt a lot.
No, he should. Yeah, I mean, but he's still under contract.
Ride the bench another year and call it quits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that wouldn't be the worst.
I mean, in my opinion, I think that's the smartest thing for him to do. But
probably.
Yeah. Moving on, Daniel Jones out for the year.
Torn ACL.
He just comes back, and it was just a drop back. He fell.
Just kind of a freak thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things that are gonna go, they're gonna go. And,
I mean, really bad luck for the Giants, right?
The Giants,
they finally get him back, and they're hoping for him to have some sort of resemblance of last year. And to see him go, I mean, you never want to see an injury, but this was just coming off an injury to have a season-ending injury. Brutal.
Puts them in a weird position just going forward, just having to start DeVito.
Who I don't think is that good. No. Tyrod's on IR, and he was just placed on IR last week. So, I mean, you're looking at him not being back. If they want any semblance of winning any games, I think that would be the route. But, I mean, he's out 4 weeks, another 3, I think.
They're already looking at next year, and they're already looking at other quarterbacks.
You have to.
I mean, we got to look at the Daniel Jones contract now, too.
I mean, it's brutal, and I've heard they're looking at drafting a quarterback in the draft. Let's say they're top 5 pick. It's tough to spend a top 5 pick on a quarterback when you have Daniel Jones' contract there, but maybe a second-round pick, or maybe they do go all in on a quarterback there and they want Jones just as a coach, mentor deal. I don't know.
Yeah, they would have $22 million in dead cap.
It's a lot.
They could cut him after next year.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he would because, I mean, he's not going to get any more money down the line, but they could try to restructure that contract and get some back.
Yeah.
Or they could try to, put it down the line and not worry about it.
It's backloaded. I mean, the 92 guaranteed is what he's going to get.
Yeah. And that's for sure. Like, he will get that.
Unfortunately, this was a poorly structured contract on the Giants' part. They backloaded it, and they should have probably tried to give him as much as they could at signing.
Yeah.
Just in case this inevitably happened. I mean, casual football fans could tell you this was not a good contract. And this is what I meant to reference when I was talking about a team going after Tannehill. The Giants did this.
True.
So teams will do things that aren't necessarily smart.
Yeah, I mean they were under a lot of pressure though in bringing back him and Saquon. And
they can be under pressure, but it doesn't make it the right decision.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
It's inept, and I mean it's going the way anybody could have predicted it would, really.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones has never been that good. And it's unfortunate that he tore his ACL. The Giants got some thinking to do, and I don't know what they're going to do. Nobody's going to take this. This is like the Brock Osweiler situation on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, the contract alone.
Like, this is really a bad situation. They'll try him, put him back out there, see what you get.
Yeah.
They have to be drafting a rookie though. They can't be
first round pick.
Yeah, they can't be thinking about what Daniel Jones is doing. You can start him and play him until 7 games and it's been 12 turnovers and you need to bring in Drake May because Daniel Jones isn't good.
Yeah,
I could totally see that being where the Giants are next year.
Yeah, I don't know. They're in a rough spot for at least the next 3 years. Plus this one. They're a very mismanaged organization. It doesn't make sense. They did so good getting Dable there.
Yeah, Dable's good.
And the defense has been good, and the offense they can't get anything going. They have no playmakers. They got Darren Waller, but between injury and not being used, Yeah,
that's not going to do it. You need a speedy wide receiver. You need
They need something to help. Anything. I mean, Saquon can only do so much for your offense.
Who were their wide receivers going into the season?
Darius Slay, I think they added Paris Campbell this year.
Oh, okay, the rookie.
Yeah, I mean they didn't have a lot. I forget who the guy they drafted this year was named.
They got Slayton.
Yeah.
They got Jalen Hyatt. Okay.
Hyatt's good. I do like Hyatt's upside, but I don't think he's going to be like a number one forever.
Can Jalen Hyatt... I mean, he's a good straight line runner, deep threat type guy, but...
I don't know.
All right. We'll see.
They need help. They need a lot of help.
Yeah, 11 catches, 214. That is like a 19 and a half average.
And they've had their moments moving the ball sometimes. I mean, Tyrod was showing you how well he can move the ball. That's why I keep going back to some of these guys can play ball. Tyrod was showing it. And I mean, like, maybe that is the case with them. Maybe they have playmakers and Daniel Jones isn't showcasing them enough.
Could be. That line is just so bad. I mean,
it is, yeah.
Jones runs into sacks too, but like the Giants get sacked so much.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. How many times have they been sacked? I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, I just know it's not the most in the league, but it's up there.
Who's got the most?
The Commanders do.
That's just crazy that the team has faced more sacks than the Giants.
Right? I forget. Sam Howell's been hit a lot. I think they said it was close to 50.
48 sacks for the Giants have taken this year. And then the Commanders, let's see.
Commanders, they were over 50, I believe.
That is just really wild.
Dude, imagine, and Sam Howell's been the quarterback for them the whole time. That's a lot of hits.
No, it's only 44.
Oh, it's 44? Oh, so it's changed since I last heard that stat.
Yeah, I mean, they've
been protecting him a little more. But yes. Well, look at what's going on. The Giants now are down 2 quarterbacks.
Having your quarterback on his back 48 times in 8 games is
not
just
good.
Nuts. To average 6,
mm-hmm.
like 5 is that number where it's like, ooh.
You don't want to take 5 sacks. Plus, all the pressure hits they're getting regardless. Like, those are just sacks.
Right. Yeah, I don't even have the numbers for how many times they've been hit, but I mean, it's a big reason they have so many injury issues.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get...
Yeah, there was one more thing before we do picks. Carson Wentz signs today to the Rams. Now, as I'm hearing, he's a backup.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe Stafford's injury isn't as clear as we thought, and he's planned to play. But maybe they think he's going to get hurt again, and they want a solid backup in that case. I mean, they have offense and defense to at least make moves a little bit this year. I wouldn't rule their season as over yet.
Matt Stafford is... McVay said Stafford will be back in action after the Rams off week is the latest we have on him. So
are they going into their off week?
Yes, they have the bye, so they don't play until November 19th against the Seahawks. So
I don't blame them though, bringing in a guy who's at least competition.
Yeah, give him the off week too. Give him a good opportunity.
And you're giving 10 days for practice.
Yeah,
that's a good, just in case he's not ready.
No,
that's a good signing for them.
It's an improvement. I know Stetson Bennett was supposed to be the backup to Stafford this year, but he's dealing with something personal. I'm trying to get some information. It says he's likely out for the season.
Wow.
But I believe it's a personal matter. It's non-football related issues. Stetson Bennett had a couple of issues in college.
Yeah.
These types of things. I don't want to speculate on what this is, but just non-football stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's not a good sign.
I don't want to speculate because who knows what it is.
Yeah.
But
I mean you're paid to play football though.
Yeah,
I would hope you'd be around the team.
I'm
not sure, but what it could be. But
here's what McVay says. I'm not ready to say he won't be back with us at all this year, but it's probably less likely he would be. But he's doing well. So, I mean
that's still vague. Yeah, that's face value.
The fact that he needs to point out he's doing well, maybe, if you want to read between the lines. I was going to
say, maybe that's taking out some serious things that people could speculate.
Could be a mental health type concern. But that's reading between the lines.
Yeah.
Who really knows?
You're not going to know unless you're in that circle.
Right. And, I mean, not speculate, but that's just an interesting nugget. But, that's probably contributing to the Carson Wentz signing.
Yeah, I would say, and I think it's a good signing. You got a couple signings today. We had Blake Martinez signed with the Panthers.
Right, had the crypto scam.
Yeah, he had some weird scam. I don't know if NFL players kind of need to do that. You know, you made some money in your day.
Yeah, I heard a quote from Blake Martinez, and he said that the rush he gets from opening a new pack is like sacking a quarterback. He said it's better than sacking a quarterback.
Man,
he said. Yeah.
That sounds like addiction.
That wasn't the direct quote, but that was the essence of what he said.
So then he goes on to scam people. Like it's so wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've heard that too, and I remember being so crazed out by it.
Yeah, I heard he was like taking out the cards in the pack. I just kind of went into this when I heard he went into the practice squad. I kind of
some of those came back up. It's really strange, but I mean, good for him to make it back to a team.
No doubt.
I think he'll end up making some plays for the Panthers.
Tackling machine. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it's good for him to get back in the
football. He's a plug and play guy. Yeah, I mean, that's what he was. So I'm sure it'll work out. He's been out of the league for 2 years though, so we'll see.
And then the last free agent signing of the day, which I mean, surprised to see 3 today, all broke. Martavius Bryant.
Yeah,
to the Cowboys.
Yeah, very. It's been years.
Why did they need another wide receiver there?
I don't know.
Is there something I don't know?
It's like a Jerry Jones move, no doubt about that.
Yes, it is.
Martavius Bryant last played in 2018.
That's wild.
31. This is crazy.
I just can't believe it's been that long.
No, I know. I mean,
who did he last play for?
The Raiders.
Really? Wow.
That's
surprising.
Yeah, no, I've never personally seen a player be out of the league for that long and then come back. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a long time to not play football. Was he playing in other capacity? Like, was he in
maybe
the
he was in the CFL
or
something? I don't know.
Oh yeah, he played with the Toronto Alouettes or something.
Okay.
In 21.
Just a weird
Argonauts.
thought, Argonauts. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, good for him making it back to the league. He's not going to have a lot of time. You know, he's behind Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks, but you never know.
I'm excited to see him. I mean, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Really. He was a good jump ball receiver.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Man.
Well, maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
Having a guy who can just jump ball.
Interesting stuff for sure.
Definitely.
I'm ready to make some game picks.
Yeah, let's make some picks. I'll give a quick shout out. You won this week.
Hell yeah.
9-7. It was close. So I mean,
back on the board, the second win of the year.
I had some questionable picks. I'm not gonna lie. Looking back, I was kind of surprised. But
the comeback has started. Comeback has started.
Yeah.
So 2-7.
Yeah, I think we tied one.
Yeah.
So 2-6-1 or something.
Yeah. Okay. I'm right there.
Hey, the season's got a long ways to go. I mean, you never know.
Season's young.
All right. Well, let's start with the easy one. Thursday night.
Panthers-Bears.
I know where I'm leaning. I'm taking the Bears.
I'm leaning Bears too. I'm hoping Fields. I think with Bajan, they still find a way. Fields, I think they win by 20. Honestly,
really,
I really do. I think they're a better team than the Panthers.
I hope that's the case, and I hope DJ Moore has 3 touchdowns on Thursday Night Football.
A little revenge game.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. DJ Moore from the Panthers. Yeah, we could see a revenge game going on.
I think he'll be ready. I really want to see Fields. I'm tired of them holding him out. Let's see him.
He's got to be back.
Bring him back.
He's got to be back, and they need him.
They do. It's big. Colts Patriots in Germany, Frankfurt.
Yes.
Home game for the Patriots, unfortunately. Not that it matters.
I mean, hey, I don't care. Yeah, the season's over.
Yeah, so they actually liked that.
Yes, I'm a fan of that. Apparently, there's a lot of Patriots fans in Germany, I've heard.
Interesting.
I heard getting a ticket to that game was like trying to get a ticket to the Super Bowl. It was really tough.
That's interesting. I would have thought that they would have. We even said on the show that we thought the Chiefs-Dolphins was the better game, but here it is, Colts-Patriots. That's what they like.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the Colts. I just, I don't like what the Pats' offense is, and I would like to see them lose. So I'm taking the Colts.
A strange feeling just came over me. Isn't Bill Belichick like Austria, Czech Republic or something like that?
Yeah, he's something over there.
He's gonna show out.
You think?
Give me the Pats.
Give him the Pats.
He's doing it.
You know, I've had the feeling last week I picked the Pats, and I was like, this will be a game they'd win, and they don't need to.
Right.
And the Commanders got it done. Right. I don't think the Commanders are all that good.
Right.
I just think we're that bad, and I like that.
Yeah.
No, keep the losses coming.
This is I don't know.
This is a big game for them to lose.
It's in Germany. Yeah. It's going to be weird for both teams. I don't know. Give me the
if Minshew moving the ball like he has a couple games, we're not keeping up.
In a normal game, I'm taking the Colts, but I'm just factoring.
Just because it's Germany, you're taking. That's so doing. Funny.
Yeah, that's it. I think it makes a big difference. I think
it does. No, I do think it.
I think Belichick's gonna have his boys better prepared. I really do.
He could.
Browns, Ravens.
This is a game.
We're in Baltimore. Really interesting. I mean, this could go either way. But. I'm taking the guys. Give me the Baltimore Ravens.
Have they played yet this year?
No.
No.
This is their first matchup.
Both of these teams lost to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Which is a crazy thought in my head. I think the Ravens are in a better suit to win this game as well.
I agree.
I like what the Browns have, and let's just say they hold them to 10 points. They could win. They could sneak one out here. But it's no Nick Chubb there. I'm not high on their quarterback situation. As much as I like what the Browns defense brings, and I think they do a little. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I like the Ravens more.
Agreed. Packers, Steelers, in Pittsburgh. The Packers don't have much going for them. I think the Steelers are got a lot going for them, at least defensively. I like the Steelers there for sure. I think they kind of overwhelm Packers offense.
Yeah, I think Jordan Love struggles in this game. That Steelers defense is legit. I mean, just pressure to the quarterback. I like the Steelers there.
Agreed. 49ers, Jags, and Duval. Interesting game. Niners off a 3-game losing streak in the bye. Playing a formidable competition.
Jags who are legit in Jacksonville. Yeah. That's a tough game.
I don't think the Niners drop another one, though. Chase Young's first game.
Yeah.
I think the Niners get it done.
I think the Niners have to win. And I said this. I think this bye week couldn't have come at a better time for them.
They needed it.
And this is a game they need to win because, they lose a couple more. They're not going to catch Seattle for their first division spot,
Exactly.
And then they're playing on the road all the time in the playoffs. I don't think they can catch the Eagles at this point. It's going to be really tough.
Agreed. I think the Eagles got that 1 seed locked up.
I think that's going to be locked.
I think it's almost important just for themselves, though.
Yes,
they have to beat these teams.
Prove.
The playoff teams.
Yeah.
The good teams. This is the type of game they need on the road.
Yeah.
Get a big win.
The
confidence.
I think of all people, Brock Purdy needs to have a game.
He needs one for himself.
If he doesn't get that confidence up, the Niners are shot.
Right, because he starts his career, 15-0 or something.
Not
the
regular season.
In the regular season, but now he's lost 3 in a row. I mean, this can happen.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, sophomore slumps are a real thing. He is still a second-year player.
Not to take away. I mean, he's been great, but
yeah.
Saints, Vikings in Minnesota. Josh Dobbs coming back. They're
in
round
Minnesota.
2. In Minnesota. Saints looked weak against the Bears, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Saints have looked bad a lot of this season.
I think these teams are, I don't know. The Saints are a little better, but they're playing at similar levels, and I like the Vikings here, and I'm going to take them because I think they're warmer. But Saints are a little more talented, but they're not playing up to their capabilities, in my opinion. I like the Vikings.
I do think that Justin Jefferson still won't be available for this game, which is a big bummer. I think if they had him, I think they really make waves in this game. But I think a week of practice for Josh Dobbs and getting the system down is going to help. What he did to Atlanta without any of that, I think, is a sign in the right direction. And we were talking about it. They got to play better than some of these teams if they want that playoff spot. Give me the Vikings.
Agreed. Texans, Bengals. Stroud had the awesome game last week, coming into a little tougher defense facing Lou Anarumo's Bengals.
Yeah.
I like the Bengals there. I think it's going to be tough for the Texans. I like what they got going, but the vibes won't stop you when you're playing on the Burrow.
I love what the Texans have got going. That being said, they lost to the Panthers 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to just erase everything that I've seen from them. It is an up-down team. They have some room for improvement going forward. They're not perfect. And we're talking about a team that is pretty close to perfect when they're playing at their best. Right now, they are playing at their best. Give me the Bengals.
Agreed. Titans, Bucks. We got a lot of agreement this week.
I know. We don't have much different.
No. Titans, Bucks. Interesting. Not really.
I mean, this could go two ways.
Yeah. I don't know. It's Will Levis. It's the Bucks.
Will Levis earned his starting job.
Yeah, I actually liked a lot of what I saw from Baker against the Texans last week. He looked pretty solid.
Yeah, that offense looks good.
Yeah. I like the Bucks here. I think they got a better offense than the Titans. I don't know. Titans aren't great on defense. They got a couple guys, but I have more high scoring game. 30, 34, 28 type.
Well, I got to start D-Hop this week, so I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
I also have the Bucks, but I'm not going to be surprised if Levis gets a win here. The Bucks are another team that's up and down, and it's hard to pick with them, and it's hard to pick with the Titans now. I don't know what we're going to get week to week with Levis. Right. But I like what I get from Baker. Baker's pretty consistent. He's been balling. I'm going to take the Bucks.
Lions, Chargers. This is going to be a shootout.
I think this is a shootout.
And I think this could go either way, honestly. I think it's going to be probably one possession, probably in the 30s. And I'm taking the Chargers.
Ooh.
I am. I really think I think the Lions, keep up here, but then the Chargers have been good on offense. And
they're going to need to win this game because another loss is going to be crucial to them.
Definitely.
I like the Lions.
Makes sense.
I like Jared Goff. I like what they can cook up on offense, and I don't like what the Chargers defense brings. As well as they played last week, they're not going to be able to keep that same level. The Jets just aren't the same team.
Hard to argue with the Lions right now, but the Chargers are a tough team to play.
Oh, they're no pushover. This will be a really fun game.
Right, and I just like their offense.
Lions defense got some players too. Right. I mean, they show up.
They're good on defense, but they're on a roll right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Falcons, Cardinals. Falcons get a win here. Over the Cardinals.
I like
Actually,
that.
You know what? No.
Ooh.
Give me the Cardinals.
Clayton too? That's right.
Kyler's playing.
Kyler's back.
I like the Cardinals if Kyler's playing.
I think they get James Conner back too.
Yeah, they're probably a lot better, honestly.
This is a big game for that first pick implications. Like you're talking about, Kyler doesn't want to lose his job.
Right. This is gettable for the Cardinals, and I don't know. The Falcons might pull it out, but this is gettable, and I think the Cardinals might get it.
I like the idea of Kyler coming back and, playing heroics for them, but I don't see it. Yeah. I don't think that offense has enough for Kyler to really gravitate towards. And I like what Taylor Heineke brings to the Falcons. Give me the Falcons.
All right. Giants, Cowboys, division game here. I don't think there's much to say.
Nope.
Cowboys.
Cowboys by a lot.
Yep.
Cowboys by a lot. We saw what they did to him last time, and I'm very afraid because I'm playing them in fantasy, that defense. They put up 35 points in defense alone. Like, that's unheard of. Tommy DeVito has his hands full.
He sure does. Commanders, Seahawks in Seattle. I think the Seahawks bounce back there. Commanders have been pretty weak. Just traded two of their best players. They're in rebuild mode. I like the Seahawks.
I don't think the Commanders are too good of a team. They beat us, but we're not good of a team.
Yeah.
That run defense is not good. And Kenneth Walker can finally have a bounce back game. He's been really quiet this year, last couple of weeks in particular. And the Seahawks need him if they want to be a real contender. So give me the Seahawks.
The next game, we got Jets Raiders, I believe. Yeah, Sunday Night Football. I was looking at. I could have sworn these two teams played each other, but no, it's just the last two Monday night games.
Yeah,
the Raiders and the Jets. So yeah, they're playing each other on Sunday night now.
Mm-hmm. Prime time.
The Raiders have the momentum here with their new coach.
Jets have a better team. I don't know.
Jets have the better team. I'm taking the Jets. I think they're in a legit playoff hunt, and I think they find a way.
I think they are too, but I kind of like what the vibes are going on in the Raiders. Their vibes are up. They were cooking last week. I like the Raiders on Sunday night.
All right. And now to cap it off, we have the worst Monday night game they could probably do. Broncos, Bills. I mean, well, I hate to say that. The Bills have been struggling. Maybe they keep it close.
I don't think this is as bad as we've had. Some of these Monday night stinkers have been really common. The Broncos offense has at least looked better of late.
I agree. Broncos on Monday night's crazy to me.
I'm surprised. Broncos coming off a bye, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's, they're a little rested. The Bills are in need of a win though, and I feel like their momentum and their motivation is a little down right now. So I'm gonna take the Bills as a bounce back, but it is something to watch. I think this game has more to it.
Agreed. I'm taking the Bills there too. I just don't think the Broncos have much for them.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for episode 10 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us. I've been Ryan Hayes.
I'm Dylan Bracha.
See you next time.